Hey, it's Vic,
And Javi.
and you
Are
are
watching
watching
the
the
Shmee
Shmee
Show.
Show.
Oh, you gave like the Disney?
I tried.
All right, welcome back, you guys. Next on the Shmee Show, we have our very special guests. They are two of my closest friends here in the city, but honestly, they are so many more things than that. Take a look. Javi Perez and Victor Borbolla wear many hats. They're models, actors, business owners, and husbands. These high school sweethearts of Cuban descent grew up in South Florida, but have been making their mark in New York City for over a decade. As the owners of the fitness studio Social Club, their mission is to inspire positive change through movements and to lift your spirits while lifting your booty. You can also add motivating queer role models to their list because whether they'll admit it or not, Javi and Vic light up the doll world around us. Their story is energizing and their love is true. If you want to know how they've totally schooled life, it's simple. If it comes from Javi and Vic, it comes from the heart. Welcome to Shmee Show, my friends, Javi and Vic!
Woo, woo, woo! What's up, Sam? What's going on?
I'm so excited! I'm so excited to
Ew.
finally have you guys here.
It's been a long time coming, right?
I know you guys knew about this show back in March.
Yeah, I was trying to think. March wasn't that far away, but it feels far as hell from.
Yeah.
from
Well, no, that was the first day we met. When I told you guys about the Shmee Show, that was actually the first day we met.
Like officially like met in person.
Yeah, in met in person, yeah. All right, so let's dive right into it because we have so many topics to cover because you guys are two of the most fascinating people that I've ever met in my entire life. If someone came up to a bar, or if someone came up to you at a bar, not as a couple, let's say individual, and then maybe we could do a couple, and they said, "Who are you?" How would you describe yourself? Who wants to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Who am I? First, I'd introduce myself. Say my name is Victor. And then I
You
would
probably
say-
do that like cute little like
I give him like it's like I do this like I'll look down until I look up, and I'll do like a little flirt.
yeah.
A little bit. I'll introduce myself. I'll say my name is Victor, and I would start off by saying I'm an actor. I live in New York City, and I am officially a New Yorker because I hit my 10-year move anniversary on August 16th, which was like last week or something. So 10 years. So I'm an actor. I'm a New Yorker, and I'm here to have a good time.
Javi, your turn.
So I like this is kind of like this kind of goes back to like how I interpret information. I'm like, do I answer it the way that he just answered it? Or do I answer it in a way that feels a little bit like deeper? And I think I'm gonna go with like the deeper one. And I think it's
Please.
and what I mean by that is, hi, my name is. I need you. Hi, my name is Javi. I am a multi-potentialite, and that means that
That's
I
a word.
yes, I'm an actor when I apply myself to that. It's part of my identity. Yes, I'm a fitness instructor when I apply myself to that. Yes, I'm a painter when I apply myself to that. So it's like having potential for a lot of different things and kind of having to pick and choose what the flavor of the month, year is, right?
All right. Well, the award for the best answer goes to Javi.
I do have to say though, but my decision to answer the way that I did, I think, is very heavily influenced by the fact that I worked at a bar for 7 years. So there are certain things that I feel like talking about and certain things that I just don't feel like talking about with strangers.
Yeah.
So if I don't feel like getting into a super long conversation with you, I might not answer the question the way that Javi did.
You would have gone home with the hookup, and I would have gone home with the husband. That's what but someone, if I answer that to somebody, and they just kind
They
of
would
like,
literally look at him
this
like,
is, I gotta go.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was answering the question.
It was very surface level.
Considering the terms that were given to me by Sam, and he mentioned that I
Yeah.
was being approached by somebody at a bar.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyways,
One of the things I want to talk about, and some of you guys always roll your eyes at me when I bring this up, and I don't know if it's a roll your eyes of, Sam, like that's so far-fetched. But when I call you guys queer role models, like I'm not I'm not like screwing around with you guys. I'm not like trying to like, beef up my friends and like boost their egos. Like I really do mean that. And Javi, you and I had a very great conversation recently, like I think last weekend, about what that means. And before we hop into all those surface questions that we got to cover so people get to know you better, I do really want to start with this one because I really want to get both your perspectives on if you realize the weight of your individual careers and then your careers combined mean for queer people in New York City, but also queer kids out there who may follow you guys that you're unaware of, that they're seeing two very successful gay men and then also having a very successful marriage and a very successful social life. And you guys are like the testament that like, it's all possible. It can all be wrapped up together in a bow. Don't let someone else tell you it's not possible.
I think that we've possibly rolled our eyes just because I don't know.
To be humble.
Because, we understand that you're being really nice and you're being a really great friend. Mm-hmm. But and I guess maybe because there are many instances in my life where I forget that that's the truth. But there have been a few instances in my life where I have noticed that or I have realized that. Like,
whether you have like impact.
Well, yeah, like for instance, for a period of time, I was receiving like messages from like young boys or kids that went to the high school that I went to. Like they were like sent me a personal DM being like, "Hi, my name is so and so, and
this is my story.
This is what I'm going through, and I'm reaching out because I didn't know who else to reach out, and
I'm scared to come out."
Yeah, like I go to the same high school that you graduated from. And when that happens, that is a kind of like nice, humble reminder that I am who you say I am. But it has been super humbling to help them.
This idea of like being a queer role model, I take very seriously, and as much influence or as little influence as I have, whether I'm influencing 3 kids or 1,000 kids. For me, it's all about the kids, all the queer kids out there that don't have someone to look up to and someone to aspire to be. And I like that you bring up, not just on a career level, but on a personal level, because growing up, I had the career stuff down. Like I was like, that stuff I'm not worried about. For me, it was the personal stuff. Like, how am I going to live like a fulfilling life? How am I going to find someone that loves me? Am I going to have to keep this lie up forever? And for us, for so long, like you said, like we forget that for so long we were so worried, and like it was debilitating how worried we were, to the point where it was easier for us just to live these crazy double lives until we obviously just couldn't anymore. And I guess that goes further into our story.
Yeah, it's not that we couldn't anymore. We just decided not to do anymore because we felt that like our relationship was more important.
Yeah, we came to an end. It came to an end where we were like, we don't have to keep this up anymore, because if the people that we were so scared of don't accept us,
then we have each other, so they can fuck off. You know? Yeah.
I obviously know how you guys met, but I love the story so much. So if you guys want to dive into how you met, and we can just go from there.
So Javi and I, we met in high school. How long ago? 13 years ago?
Yeah, so we graduated in 2009.
Yeah.
We met at the end of 2008.
Yeah, and we went to an all-boys Catholic Jesuit school in Miami, Florida. And
I always get like think suit and tie, very like stuck up.
I always loved whenever we tell like casting directors for like commercials or whatever this little story, I always loved to throw in the word that it was scandalous. I was like, it was so scandalous. But the truth is, really, I'd like to throw in the word scandalous because they eat it up. But the truth is, it really wasn't scandalous only because nobody knew. Like,
it was the biggest secret. Yeah. And it wasn't this that it was a secret. It was that I think, especially between our peers, I think being gay was like, in their eyes, it was like the biggest insult. It was like the worst thing you could be.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
if anybody ever thought that we were gay or anything, they would literally be like, oh my God, no, that's the worst thing I could think of them. I would never think that of them. So they're absolutely not. And like our friends would defend us to the end of time.
Which is so crazy because when we started dating, we
kind of like completely derailed.
yeah,
like,
we just
how
became
we met.
well. We became we became best friends, right? And we spent any minute that we could alone together. So we would show up to school like 10 minutes early, and I would hop in his car and we'd just hold hands like secretly and privately, like by ourselves.
But we would literally just like meet early just so we could sit in the car holding hands.
Yeah, but to take it back to what Javi was saying about people defending you against being called gay or whatever
They would defend your honor.
One time towards the end of our time at high school, we went to prom, and we had
not together.
No, not together.
I was like, wow.
We went to prom with our own dates. And then we ended up like kind of like ditching the dates. So long story short, we ended up passing out together on the beach. Like we just passed out together on the beach. I know it's super sweet, but I woke up
not super sweet when you're in the closet.
Yeah, with his pants were just like opened. I mean, he wasn't completely naked, but his pants were open, and my head was laying in his crotch. I woke up and we were like, oh my God, Javi, whatever. We had nowhere else to sleep, so we fell asleep on the beach. Cut to Monday. We're in the line.
Monday morning in the lunch line.
We're
we
in
were
the
standing
line
in line together
to get lunch, and all of a sudden, a friend of ours comes up to me and goes, yo, guys, the craziest thing happened.
And he's cracking up. And we're just like, dude,
he's like,
what?
Yo, I was taking a walk on the beach, and I see these two people passed out, and I walk up to them, and it's you and Javi passed out on each other's crotches. Look at this photo. Look how funny. And he showed us
literally
the
like,
photo.
No!
Like, not even for a second does he think like, oh, these guys are gay. He was just like, wow, this is hilarious. These guys fell asleep on each other's crotches with their pants down.
Oh my God, how embarrassing.
That's so funny. Let me show everyone in the table. No one started thinking like, oh my God, guys, it's because they're gay. It was just like, and I was like, oh my God, we could literally get away with anything. We could literally make out right now and convince everyone it's a joke.
You'd give me like a massage, or I'd give you like a massage.
Whatever. It was like, it didn't matter. Like, it was like, we could do anything. We got away with anything. I don't know.
And then right around graduation, people started finding out, and that also, while if it happened a year earlier, like if people started finding out I was gay, say junior year, I think I would have felt like it was the end of the world. But I think that what we were saying rings true in this moment. It was just like our fear of our friends not being our friends anymore didn't really matter, because we were fortunate enough to just like know that the other person was going to be there, and it didn't really matter. You know, nobody else mattered.
I was over it.
So for that reason, it was easy for me to say, "Fuck you, you don't like it, whatever." I also, and
everyone, for the most part, everyone was fine. At least to our
yeah.
face, everyone was fine, and they were cool about it.
My dad, when he found out, which is another story for another day on how he found out. It includes a shower and nudity, so there's that.
Iconic. Okay.
Yeah, he reacted pretty violently in terms of like his anger. You know, he's just like, he was very upset. He almost took it like I was doing it in
like a punishment. Yeah, it was like a punishment towards him.
Yeah, he really thought, and you know what, and who's to say that, like based off of how I remember this, he really did truly feel like it was in spite of him. Like the day he found out, he asked me why, and
because like, I love cock.
Yeah, I don't know. I love. So my I think that this is what I'm talking about. That because of where I was in my life, it was so easy for me to say fuck you. I didn't say fuck you, but it was so easy for me.
No, I know. Yeah.
I don't care about how you feel about this, and I laughed.
This is why I feel coming out is so important, right? Because we come out to kind of prove to everyone that we're not living ashamed. We're not living a shameful life. Nothing that we do as queer people should be anything that we're ashamed of or feel sorry for or apologize for. And we grow up with so much guilt. We both grew up going to Catholic school, and it was just like the guilt was hovering above us. I mean, it still is in a way. We feel the guilt all the time. But it's so important for us as, like you said, queer role models to kind of like smash that and live as loud as possible so that the young queer kids can say, oh my God, like, look what's possible. And they're happy, and like the world's not ending, and people don't hate them. People actually like them.
Okay, so let's talk business. Let's talk about Social Club. Because that's how I know you guys. That's how we met. That's what brought this all together. So as everyone at home knows, I am the unofficial Social Club ambassador. I'm always trying to get everyone ambassador. I'm always trying to get everyone to the Social Club. I crack myself up when I think about how passionate I was about Social Club. Before there actually was a real studio and I knew you guys, I was just obsessed with the workouts. There was something about it. I'm all about energy, and I knew when it started, I was like, this is my jam. Because, fun little story I'm going to share with you guys right now is how I ended up finding you guys on Instagram many years ago. So, because it ties into why I was like, this is like the shit, I'm doing Social Club. These people are my people. I need to meet them. It's all going to happen. So I felt very lost in 2018 because I had just gone through a really bad breakup. And this Netflix pilot that I had been working on, I don't know if I ever told you guys about this. It tanked and it wasn't going anywhere. I spent like a whole year working on all this stuff for Netflix and just didn't ever take off. And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with my life? I don't feel like I'm around my people. No one gets me. I'm like the gay in the entire area, and I'm just very lost. Like, I would go to work, and I was working at the coffee shop at the time, and I would be like washing dishes at the end of the day, being like, this is my life. I'm gonna end up teaching theater at the local high school. I'm gonna be that gay guy who never left the small town. Like, that is just not, like, that's just my destiny, I guess. I'm never getting out. And I just somehow stumbled across one of your guys' profiles, and then I was like, these guys look like the most joyful, warm people I have ever seen. And also, I came out of a relationship that was so, like, the pictures online were like the mask over all of the shit that was going on at home. But like, when I saw pictures of you guys, I was like, this is real. Like, this is what real love looks like. Like, this is real. And I remember just being so happy watching your guys' lives. And then I went off social media for a long time. And when I came back, I eventually found my way back to you guys. And I remember telling myself when I came back on social media, I was like, I don't know if it's going to be them or other people. But my goal right now in life is to end up in the next 2 years in a place where I'm around people just like them, because they look like they're having the time of their fucking life. And I want to be having the time of my fucking life. And it's crazy that now, not only am I having the time of my fucking life, but you guys are part of that. I've always felt so uncomfortable being a queer person in a very straight dominated athletic space. And they're creating something where I can just be Sam and not be worried that when I lift the weight, I flick my wrist a little too much, or my hip goes over to the side when I'm doing squats or whatever. I can just be fucking Sam and work out, and it's going to be cool. And then that's it. And then that's why I've always been like, yeah, everyone fucking join Social Club, because these are good people doing a good thing. And whether they realize it or not, Social Club is a great fucking thing for more than just gay people. So that's my little spiel about Social Club. So
that was very
Yeah, I'm gonna need to transcribe that, put that on our website, please.
I'm a fitness instructor. It is one of the hats that I wear. I started teaching classes during the pandemic on Instagram Live, partly because I was bored, partly because I had clients messaging me like, hey, like, what should we be doing? I'm losing my mind. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start recording myself working out like 10 minutes at a time. And I just started making these like short videos. Mm-hmm. And I saw that people were watching them, right? And that was like, I was like pre-recording. When I first started, I was like pre-recording.
In the backyard.
Yes. when I first started, and then it was like taking so long to like upload them. The files were too big. It was like really
What a
annoying.
nightmare.
And of course, like for those of you that don't know, I'm like the face of Social Club, but he is everything else. So this was all pre-Social Club, but he was the one that like goes on and has to like edit the videos or like upload them. Like I'm like the worst at that kind of thing, and it's where he thrives. So we start doing them, and we start getting, you know, like 100, 120 people joining these Instagram lives. Granted, some of them just kind of like, so many people would tell me they just turned it on and they just liked to like watch and just like like they were just like watching us have fun and they like liked it.
Yeah.
Which I find hilarious. I was like, oh my God, just like watching other people work out.
This was also during the peak of the pandemic. Like
Totally.
First 2 months of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we were working out in his parents' beautiful backyard. So
Yes.
that also kind of...
Yes, it added to it. And I just started to see the response I was getting was overwhelming. I was like, just like, wow, this is so fun. I love this. So great. I had always taught classes with kind of like, it's always like my style and like the way that I taught. But now teaching classes in the backyard without working for any specific company, I was able to just do whatever I wanted. And I was able to teach the way that I wanted, and I was able to speak the way that I wanted.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing. Like speaking and saying what you want without feeling like
kind of
you're
speaking to what you
breaking
said,
rules.
like feeling safe in a queer space to exercise and not feeling self-conscious and feeling like you can just like, oh my God, just like be yourself to like work out. It's just like, it's the thing straight people don't understand. It's like when you're gay, you're when you put yourself in these different situations, you're constantly putting the mask back on, and you're kind of like, even if it's just a little bit going in the closet, like
You're still
answering
going
the
in.
phone with a voice, or like, you know what I mean? Like checking into a hotel and like being nervous to say that you're like with this person and you only want one bed.
Yeah.
They're like those little things straight people don't understand. So being able to be in a queer space and being able to be myself teaching, I was like, oh my God, I like love doing this. Like I liked it as a job. It was fine, you know, as a side hustle. But I was like, wow, this is like so fulfilling, especially when I had like all these people giving me all this positive reinforcement. So we said, why don't we just do this? And we're like, we were in the middle of the pandemic. This is like kind of early on in the pandemic. And we were just like, we have all this time and all this energy, and we have all these people that are excited. Let's just like make this a real thing.
Did you ever get worried about you both like landing like a huge fucking acting job and like you're not knowing what to do with Social Club?
No, absolutely not. I'm like, let's land that big acting job. And
I don't get worried about I'm not worried about not booking it. No.
Nope, absolutely not. Let's get that job and we'll worry about the rest. We'll worry about the rest when it's done. Yeah. Girl, that's the same question I get as an actor. People are like, so what kind of acting do you do? Like theater, more film? And I was like, girl, whatever, whoever wants to act me, I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there are enough systems in place where one, because there's two of us.
Yeah.
And two, because we have enough systems in place that like that it is a secondary concern. It's something that would pan out because we've done enough work on it.
And acting gigs don't last forever, babe. So like I'm like, you get that big acting gig, and I'm like, okay, great. I'm gone for 2 months, 3 months.
It's the same thing with like Sammy, where like when Sammy said she was leaving, it's like it's fine, girl. Like
it is what it is.
We're here, so it's like.
I mean, yeah, she was on hiatus because she booked a job.
Yeah.
So, you know, she comes back, she's going to work, and she's going to book another job. And then Brooke's going to book another job. And, I'm hopefully going to book a job.
Well, I started laughing as you were saying that because, like, when you mentioned, like, you, Brooke, and Sammy, I had this, like, storyline in my head just now. It's, like, all three of you landed a job, and it's, like, what do we do? And, like, Vic and I have to run a social club, like, the two most, like, least flexible.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, neither of us can fucking do anything flexible, and we're like, okay, guys, we're going to teach class today. And they're like, no.
I'm capable of teaching a 45-minute class, not a social club class.
Yeah,
I'm capable of making your fucking ass sweat. I can do that. Social club will just look a little different, all right? Just a little bit.
Yeah, our girls will be showing up looking like...
Yeah. A month later, the girls are going to be walking with, like, with weightlifting belts and like weightlifting gloves on.
Totally.
50-pound hand weights.
Yeah.
My God, that's so fucking funny. So I'm gonna ask you guys a sad question, but I hope you take it as a way of like the light at the end of the tunnel. What was the lowest point in your relationship, and how did you guys, if there was one, that is, and how did you guys find your way through, and how has it made your relationship stronger?
I had stayed at home, and I was going to college in Miami, and I was studying dance and whatever. And Victor had gone away to Tallahassee, which is like an 8-hour drive from my. It was an 8-hour drive from Miami, and he had already been living on his own, right, for 2 years. I had never had a roommate or like lived with anyone or lived on my own at all. So we moved in together, which I was like a little hesitant because
oh my
it was
god.
like,
Well, let me interject really quick because we'll just use this as both of our stories.
Okay.
But this is like this.
well, I think it was like the lowest point in our relationship because
Yeah,
we
for
like almost
sure.
broke up and
Well,
like,
because-
we almost like stopped being together.
As far as I understood, regarding like going to NYU together, I was at FSU and he was still in Miami, and I really thought that
I was at FIU. I was at a university. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, touchy subject.
Just want to say I was studying as well.
I was in Tallahassee and he was in Miami.
Yeah.
And I thought we were on the same page about getting into NYU and then like moving into an apartment together, which we had already like signed a lease on. Like I was in my head, it was a very, very, very exciting thing for both of us. And I had no idea that he was like considering pulling the rug from underneath me.
Yeah, because well, for me, I wanted it to feel like my experience, and I wanted it to be like, I felt like I was being robbed of an individual experience, where it was like we were so young, and people loved to remind young couples that they're young and that they have the whole world ahead of them, and like, you know, that you guys like don't be so serious together because, you know, like there's so many experiences that you're going to miss out on, or blah 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 blah. And when I got into NYU, I got into a very specific program at Tisch, and I was like, well, I want to be with those kids. Like, I want to be with the other kids, and I want to like, I had this idea of like dorm life, and I wanted to like be in a dorm. And like, thank God I didn't. And it was like such a luxury not to be in a dorm. But those are things that I didn't process. Like, I was like, okay, I want to learn that for myself. Like, I want to live in a shitty dorm and like be sad about it. And like, I felt like I was being robbed of these experiences. And he was like, well, I already experienced all of those things. They suck. I'm telling you, this is better. But I didn't want to hear it. Like, I just wanted to do my own thing. But of course, financially, it just made sense for us to live together. And we did that. And then like learning to live alone and being away from my parents for the first time, starting this new, very intense program, all of that started to become very overwhelming.
That was much harder on him than it was on me for multiple reasons.
Because we basically got married. Like, we were like married. We were like living together, like a married couple. And like, not just were we dealing with school, we weren't just regular roommates. We were like sleeping in the same bed. We were fucking. we were fucking.
You hear that?
Yeah. And there was a lot of fucking. And there was also a lot of like learning that like he's like messy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not messy.
Like,
issues with that.
Yeah.
I had issues telling him how I felt about it, and I didn't know how to like express these things to him, so I would build it all up inside, and then we would go out and get drunk, and then I would like lose it on him. Like, and it was just like take a little bit of alcohol, and like the smallest thing would start a fight between us, and we would be like screaming at each other, like fighting, and then we'd wake up the next day like, what did we even fight about? So there was a lot of that for a while. It was a lot for like a 19-year-old to deal with.
Totally.
Well, then, we got through it.
Well, how about this? Okay, so then with all of that, in a very brief, condensed answer, when did you guys know you guys were the one for each other? Like, what was the moment you're like,
story.
I knew way before Javi. Like for example, when I remember he like invited me over to his parents' house before we moved, and he like tried pulling the rug under me from being like, I don't know if this is right, like I don't know if we should be moving together. Like I literally like I like pooped my stomach. Like I really freaked out emotionally. I didn't see that coming because I already knew that. So after dragging his ass to New York and making him move in with me.
You didn't drag me to New York.
I didn't, but like
you dragged me into that.
But forcing you to live with me and doing all that, I one day after living with him for like 2 years or whatever, I did look at him and I did say, by the way, since I already pulled and pushed so hard, if you ever want to get married, know that I'm not going to be the one that's asking, because I'm not going to do that too. I did say that.
Yeah, he did. Say that. But for me, I don't know. We were young. We were already in college, and this was like around the time where like things were kind of like not going well, and we went home for Christmas, and I even told my parents. I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna end things. Like I'm just like unhappy in the apartment. I'm like not happy in our relationship. It just feels like, and you say that kind of thing, and you feel like the sense of relief. My mom was like, wow, okay, we support you, we love Victor, but like, you have to be happy, So the weekend started going, the week or whatever, Victor kept coming to like our events, my family's events, and my mom pulled me aside and was like, okay, like you're like pretending like nothing's going on. I see you with him, like you guys look great. She's like, are you breaking up with him or not? And I was like, yeah, it just doesn't feel like the right time. And then my mom came up to me again, like another day, like 2 days later or whatever, and was like, okay, I just want to say, I didn't raise you to be this way. You're dragging him through the mud. If you're going to break up with him, just break up with him already. And I got super offended. I was like, not your relationship. I was like, you're being super rude. I'm sorry I told you anything at all. And she was like, no, because I didn't raise you to be this way. You're being a dick and blah, blah. And I was like, you don't know my life. And I was so upset. Me and my mom are best friends. Yeah. It was like, we never fight. Just like not. So it was, she was calling me out, and I was like, you've never done this before. And I was like, and I don't like it. Wow. But she's like, yeah, everyone in our family thinks the same thing. They don't want to tell you. I'm the only one telling you. And of course, my sister walks in and was like, yeah, Javi, come on. And then like my dad, and I was like, weird intervention. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, fine, I'll do it tonight. So like the next day happens, and it's like Christmas. And Victor came into the house, and he looked like a little like disheveled and distraught, and I was like, what's going on? He was like late. And I like, what's wrong? And he looked like he's like really like what's the word I'm looking for? Like
discombobulated.
Like like disturbed or whatever. And I take him into the room, and all of a sudden he's like crying, and like Victor doesn't cry. Victor doesn't cry, and he holds it all in, and he starts to get like really red, and his eyes get teary, and he's like, oh my God, I got into an accident. My dad was so mad, and like I was like, it's just so dumb. And he was like in so much pain. Like I was like watching him like be so like, he was all over the place. Yeah. And that I don't know how to explain this to people, but that's the moment that I knew like, oh my God, I just want to take care of this person for the rest of my life. I just like looked at him, and I just grabbed him, and I was literally like, I got you. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And I swear to God, I kid you not, that was the moment that I was just like, oh my God, all that other stuff I was feeling was stupid and bullshit. I love this person for the rest of my life. And I just like, I feel like every time I say that story, I'm like, it's such a stupid story. It's not. But I don't know how to like, I get it. Kind of like that. I don't know. It clicked, and I was like, I was so upset that someone had hurt him. I know. Or like made him feel a certain way that was not good. Yeah. And I saw him in pain, and I just didn't want to see him in pain ever again.
I know. I've been there. I totally get it. So, final question. Seeing as your relationship is just based on true love for each other, respect for each other, and you're always lifting each other up, what do you hope your relationship in the public setting it is, what impact that might have for other people? Like what would you hope that you just loving each other does to the world?
I feel like our Instagram and I mean in general social media, you usually portray a relationship in like a very favorable way all the time, right? It's all like happy, 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 happy all the
Totally.
time, smiling, da da da. What I want to get through is that relationships take work, right? However, it shouldn't be that hard. like we work on a relationship, like we go through, we fight a lot, right? And I feel like if you're not fighting, then you're in trouble, right?
It's twofold, I think, or there's two elements to the answer to this question, and the first one goes back to talking about like the younger generation that we that look up to us, right? And I think the only thing we really can do is to continue what we're doing and just prove to them that there is joy in being gay,
And being in a successful relationship,
yeah,
and thriving.
yeah, and that like I, for example, when I was 14, I would say there was nothing that anybody could tell me that would convince me that I didn't want to be straight. You know what I mean? So I would have given anything to be straight at 14, and there was nothing anybody could say or do or show me that would convince me otherwise, right? And so I'm thinking that if we continue to truthfully live our lives and our relationship publicly, that maybe there will be kids that are 14, 12, 10, 8, and younger that don't ever have to think that way. They don't ever have to think, oh, I wish I was straight. They just have to think like, oh, I'm so excited to be gay. But the second part is for queer kids' parents. So it's like, if we are publicly living our lives and being happy together, and we just so happen to be at a sushi restaurant down the street, and there are two conservative parents, right, that happen to be sitting next to us at the table next to us, and they're on vacation and they have a queer kid who they are ready to kick out. I hope that we can inspire maybe a little bit of change or a little bit of thinking that they'll take home with them.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I love this conversation. I love getting to know a little bit more about you guys. I just really want to say, again, thank you so much for being such good friends to me and welcoming me into your lives. I will see you guys in class tomorrow, probably. And I hope you guys... Bye, Robin. Oh, their child. All right. I love you guys. Bye.
Love you.
Yeah.